kids need attachment. Kids need a connection. And if you're a teacher out there, I bet I can get an amen on this. I know you have kids in your classroom who sometimes seek connection in the most disruptive ways.
It is time for Quick Bites. You are with Ginger Lewman and
Eric Nachtigal from the Resilience team.
Yeah. So this is SDAC Quick Bites, where we get a chance to take a quick bite into different strategies to help build resilience and I don't know, calm hearts and minds in our kids. If only I worked with words for a living.
Connections, relationships, everything above.
Thanks. That's why I like having a teammate, man. Hey, today's question is really one that I'll admit this in front of everybody. I have said this real similar to kids before, where I know that life at home is not hard, but you're here in school and, we love you, and you're safe. Let that stuff go. And let's move forward and do some freaking math, right? And it didn't seem to work for the kids. And there might be a really important part that I was missing.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to say yes or no to that because I think you're brilliant. I don't think you ever missed anything. But, I shouldn't say but, I should say and.
You could say but right there.
But there might be a little more to it. Because we do need to do math and we need to do ELA.
Yeah.
But we have to be regulated, and our stress system has to be calm, and our nervous system has to be calm, and we have to be in our upstairs brain, our cortex, to do all that and have all social interactions. So there might have been a touch more.
Yeah. So friends, this episode is really a part 2 of the one that we just did, which was, Eric, you talked about closing the stress cycle with adults. How do we come through when life is hard for us? And then how do we stay regulated? And you came up with some really brilliant ideas. So now we're shifting a little bit. If you didn't listen to the first one, go back and listen to it if you'd like. But now we're going to talk about closing the stress cycle with kiddos, right?
Which there are some similarities and a few maybe just little nuances that might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
And if you're a teacher, you do have kids who are coming to you, walking through your doors with a small window of tolerance. It doesn't seem like it takes very many stressors to kind of tip them out of their window of tolerance, which might be kind of acting out disruptive or shutting down hypo-arousal type of situations.
He brushed my desk, teacher. I had to punch him.
Well, son, we did not have to fight, but that's a whole other conversation. Anyway, but yes, so those kids, and let's face it, in our world today, we have kids who are living in very stressful situations. It's sad, heartbreaking, whatever you want to say, but it's true. And how can we support those kids in different environments, including the classroom environment, so they're not exploding, so they're not punching, so they're not shutting down all the time? And some of the things, if you listen to the previous podcast about adults closing a stress cycle, apply here too. So I'm going to go back to for kids. And if you're an avid, and I hope you are an avid Quick Bites listener, you might have heard us talk about something called focused attention practices, or the importance of movement in classrooms and how that is beneficial to the nervous system and the brain. Hey, guess what? Those movement and regulation breathing strategies are also great at closing the stress cycle, or sometimes I use the phrase dosing regulation or calming that stress response system so kids can do, going back to Ginger's original point, so kids can do math, so kids can do ELA, so kids can go to recess and be safe in their social interactions and socially appropriate with their peer-to-peer interactions, all these things. So which is why in a classroom, and you can do this at home with your own kids. You could do this, friend to friend, lots of different ways. But doing intentional breathing exercises, focused attention practices, which, by the way, come from Dr. Lori Desautel's. Want to throw that credit out there. Doing those mountain breathing, square breathing, belly breathing, rainbow breathing, whatever, 5-finger breathing, whatever it is. I mean, all of them. Doing those at intentional points of the day. Those are really going to help with keeping kids regulated, continue to close the stress cycle. And it might just be they were stressed about math. Let's do some breathing. They were stressed from a recess incident. Let's do some breathing. It might be they're living in a situation in a location outside of school that is experiencing chronic stress. So they just might need to do some breathing, some extra movement, take a walk with a trusted adult, which when you're taking a walk, it's one, movement, which is good at reducing stress and closing the stress cycle. But if you're doing it with a trusted adult and maybe even having a little bit of a conversation, like an emotional check-in, you're also getting some connection, which is another way to close the stress cycle. So many good things there.
It's that co-regulation.
It is. I mean, this, I feel like, overlaps with so many things. When we talk about closing the stress cycle, co-regulation, dosing regulation, preventative de-escalation, focused attention practices, it just overlaps with so many of the practices and terms we use. So, but also affection for kids. I just can't, kids need attachment. Kids need a connection. And if you're a teacher out there, I bet I can get an amen on this. I know you have kids in your classroom who sometimes seek connection in the most disruptive ways. They're still seeking connection. That's what they want. They want connection, but they have a missing skill of knowing how to get that connection in a positive, socially appropriate, safe way. But when we start intentionally building some positive connection and some intentional connection, what's it doing? It's helping them close their stress cycle, reduce their stress, and then it cuts down on the ways they're reaching out, or they're not even verbalizing, but it reduces the time they're reaching out with connection in not so healthy ways.
If we look at behavior as a form of communication rather than just a choice, right? That if it's a form of communication saying, hey, I need something here. Maybe that's, just a little time, a little attention. Maybe I need a little love. Maybe I just need a little food or a rest, or, right?
Yeah. And let me go one step further too. I'm talking about like how we can do intentional breathing throughout the day, like before recess, after recess, before in school. I'm talking school. A lot of school things here. But you know what? What if, I know, hold on to yourself, this is a crazy thought. What if we had such good connections with the families we work with, no matter what, whether you're school, whether you're a therapist, whatever you are, but I'm going to go from my school experience. What if we had such good relationships with our families that we offered them some ways to close the stress cycle for them as adults and their students? Get kids involved in social clubs, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, 4-H, whatever you want to call it, swim clubs. Get them involved in those social clubs. That positive social interaction closes the stress cycle too.
Yep. Good, healthy sports teams.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. And that social interaction, and I'm going to put a big caveat right here. Social interaction does not mean more time on social media. Does not mean, yeah, I know on social media you might interact with somebody, but you are not literally face-to-face getting that neural connection, getting those mirror neurons going. Positive social connection. We are talking about sports teams. We are talking about going over to our cousin's house and playing with our cousins, visiting our aunts and uncles. We are talking about maybe going to a retirement home and interacting with the residents there. Just all sorts of things. That's what we're talking about.
Nor does it mean interacting with AI, because right now how it's developing, you can ask your AI tool and friend, hey, I had this question, and have you had, Eric, I'm asking you this now, have you interacted with AI where it said something like, oh, that was a really great question. Not a lot of people ask that. Have you ever had that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how did that make you feel when they asked that?
Well,
Asked that?
Two things. It made me feel like I was heard, but also made me think, I need you to just do what I just told you to do, AI.
Yeah, I don't need
Stop
a little,
asking questions.
But it's that little moment where you're like, oh my gosh, that felt good. Yeah, it was just me. And that's where it starts to get dangerous. Yeah. We got to remember what it is and what it is not, because it is an it. It's not a she. It's not a he.
It is an it.
Yeah,
it is an it.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to wrap up. Then close this because I know it is quick bites.
They're also delicious bites. I'm just going to say. Keep going.
If you're a teacher out there, pre-K to 12, I want you just to think for a moment in your school day, because you might have kids who are disruptive or disturbing the learning environment or shutting down or whatever the behavior is and the communications coming from that behavior is. When you think of laughter, when you think of positive social connection, when you think of breathing, when you think of movement, there are ways you could incorporate this very seamlessly and very quickly into your school day, into your school day and not take away dramatically from your instruction that you need to do academic? Because I know that's super important too. But what if we dose regulation with a dad joke? Or with one of those silly kids joke where we're just sharing because, they're silly, but we get a kick out of them. Or if we do turn and talks, hey, share with somebody sitting next to you, something you did this weekend that brought you joy. You are sharing social connection. You might turn to laughter, and build relationship and connection from peer to peer, from teacher to student. What if we did movement breaks? What if we did breathing? Oh my gosh. All of these reduce the stress, close the stress cycle, allow our kids to be present for learning.
And less disruptions to deal with stealing our time later. We're in control of stealing the time rather than the kid being dysregulated, and good luck getting them back in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Preventative and proactive and intentionality.
Eric, this is brilliant. I appreciate that you brought that to the table today and to our friends today that are listening. And yes, it is a little bit different for adults than for kids than it is for adults, but gosh, they're so similar too.
They are.
It's just good for humans. Friends, if you're liking this, please make sure you let other folks know about it. It is really how we're growing. We want, if you're finding value, we're assuming other people will as well. So get this sent out to people and help us grow this. If you're listening on your favorite podcast space, or if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, I'm going to say it. I don't think I've ever said it for real before. Like and subscribe. But really, honestly, that kicks the algorithm to where more people can get an opportunity to ponder the sorts of brilliance that Eric's bringing to the table today.
And Ginger's bringing brilliance too. Don't let her kid you.
So, and otherwise, we'll see you next episode coming up real soon.